everyone. I think, oh, there we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome. It's Jen from You So Much. And I have Lily Ma here joining me again on a Tuesday morning. Happy Halloween. We are both wearing witch hats. We decided to both be witches, which somehow seems appropriate.
I know, this is so funny. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all on a Halloween day. And it's interesting. We didn't plan this, by the way. It just
we
happened.
totally did. Yeah.
We're both witches today. Nice.
Yeah, it kind of worked out. So great minds think alike, I guess, Lily.
Exactly. I feel like I'm covering my face a little bit, though.
Not too bad. I think it's just the sun. You've got sunlight coming in. I've got sunlight coming in, too. It looks like it's nice in Toronto, like it is here in Portland.
It is nice.
I love it when it's nice in Halloween. It used to always be in Oregon. It would be pouring down rain. And we've actually had a string of really, really nice Halloweens. There's only been a couple, maybe in the last 10 years, that have been pouring. So anyway, I see Jay Rises in the chat box. Hey, Jay, thanks for joining us. I love it. If you are here live, please say hello and wish us a happy Halloween. And tell us what you're wearing. I'd love to know if you're wearing a costume, Jay. Anybody else out there?
All right, let's see. I'm logged onto the chat too. Hey, Jay Rise.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we thought today it would be kind of fun to talk a little bit more about our one word and talk about a quote that speaks to us in regards to our one word, kind of like we do, or kind of like I do, I should say, on Fantasy Friday. So it's kind of like a Fantasy Tuesday or an Extraordinary Tuesday, if you so want to see it that way, right, Lily?
Yes. We decided last time it was actually quite similar. Fantasy and extraordinary are very similar words.
Yeah, or just our interpretation of them, right?
Nice.
So do you want to start with your quotes?
All right, I will. I have one quote that I've always thought about ever since I was a little girl. When I was really young, I always daydreamed about climbing a mountain. And I have no interest in climbing a mountain physically in real life at all.
What about just like walking up one? Because they have those mountains you can walk up, not like literally climb
it's like I'm just not interested. But for some reason, I always wanted to climb a mountain, and I couldn't figure out why. And I kept on thinking about over and over and over again. And it kind of makes sense for my extraordinary journey. And the quote that I'm going to go with, I don't know who came up with this quote. It might have been me. I don't know. I remember hearing it somewhere, or it's my interpretation of it. It goes something like this. I will climb the highest mountain so I can see the world.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I think it speaks to my journey and my career path towards speaking. Because a lot of people will ask me, "Oh, you must be okay with the attention. You're probably not a shy person, and you like being around a lot of people." The truth is, I'm not. Like I don't like being around a lot of people, and I don't like the attention. But I feel like when I'm on stage speaking, it's really me seeing them.
Yeah.
And I'm just a mirror of other people. Does that make sense?
It does. It totally does. I think that's really, and I think that probably makes you a better speaker, because if you can be in tune with your audience and read them and react to them, then you're pulling them into what you're talking about. And it probably makes that experience so much better.
Yes. So I think that's a quote that explains extraordinary in my eyes.
Yeah, interesting. There must be something about a mountain, even though you don't want to literally climb one, right? But metaphorically speaking, what is it about a mountain that sounds so great to you?
I think it's like the freedom to be kind of on your own, and just kind of having nature around you. And I also grew up sort of around mountains when I was a little girl. My father is from Nepal, which is home of the biggest mountain of them all, Mount Everest. Yeah. I've always seen it, and maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know. I think if I laid down on a, maybe I could think about it more.
Yeah.
It's like dig deep. Although maybe there's a lot of things there that I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fun sometimes, like really like almost pull apart the quote. Like, for example, maybe it's the climbing part that you really like, because that's one thing you talked a little bit about last time with me was, for you, extraordinary is something that's kind of like a goal that you're reaching towards, right? Yeah. So maybe it's about that climb, about the, getting there, not necessarily being there.
Yeah, true. It could be. I think so. I like the journey. I'm a journey kind of person. I think if I reach the top of the mountain, I'm probably, it might be the saddest day of my life.
Really?
I don't know. I like the journey. If I get to the top of the mountain, now we're getting deep, Jen. We're getting
right.
Deep.
I know, we totally are.
What's happening? I feel like, and that's it. Like, what am I going to do now? Okay. Maybe that's why I'm afraid of climbing mountains. I don't know. We're going deep.
Yeah. So deep thoughts with Lily Ma. I love it. No, but that's true. But that's part of life, right? Part of life is that continually, that hunger to want to keep growing, to want to keep climbing, to continue the journey. And if you don't have anywhere to go, then life's over, right? So of course it'd be the saddest day, unless you're like literally on your deathbed, I would think. You want to keep going. I don't know.
It's true.
Now it's getting dark.
I like it, Dr. Jen.
Yeah. No, I'm not a psychologist. No claims here. Well, I have 2 quotes related to fantasy.
Okay.
First of all, because we talked about Forrest Gump last time, and we both love Forrest Gump, I just had to, just to see if there was any awesome quotes that really spoke to me in regards to fantasy. And there was one, and I bet you might be able to guess what it is. It's a very famous quote from the movie. There's so many, but I just thought I'd see if maybe you could guess what it is.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
That's it. Yes. It's probably the most famous line of the whole movie. But for those of you who watch my channel, you know how much I love chocolate. And for me, chocolate is an important thing that has helped me in so many random, strange ways. It was actually this particular, I have a little box of chocolates in front of me. This particular chocolatier here in Portland was my very first client that I ever wrote copy for. And I really wrote this amazing story for her about the fantasy of eating chocolate. And her chocolates are so delicious. They're some of my favorite chocolates. I've tried so many different chocolates at this point, and they're some of my favorite. And they're vegan, so they're made with coconut milk. And they're these amazing truffles, and she makes all these different flavors, and they're so good. And so I'm a big fan of having chocolate first thing in the morning to kind of symbolize that you can have pleasure all day long and indulge and enjoy life, right?
My mouth is watering.
I'll have to send you some of these because they're really, really good. You'll have to send me your address.
And they're healthy.
And they're healthy. And I literally will have like maybe a half piece like almost every morning. And I have other kinds of chocolates too. I'm always talking about different chocolates on my channel, but these are by far my favorite. I have them all the time. They're so good. My favorite is passion fruit. She makes a passion fruit truffle that is so good, but she only makes it in the summertime. But her other one that she's most famous for is lemon. So she uses fresh, that's the other thing too. She tries to use local ingredients from local farmers around here. And there's someone around here that creates this amazing fresh lemon extraction that's so good in the chocolates. It sounds kind of weird, but it's really, really good in the truffle.
Oh, that sounds really good. So how come you eat chocolates every morning? And how did that begin?
It sort of began, I would say probably when I really, really started celebrating my business and my life a little bit more. I've always enjoyed chocolate. And so, I'm not going to say that I'm not sure if it was exactly this moment when I started celebrating, but one of the things that happened when I first started my business is I thought for sure it would be no problem for me to get my business off the ground. I had already been doing copywriting on the side, and I had clients kind of being referred to me without any effort. And so I thought, if I can put 100% effort into my business, then this is going to be simple, right? And then, not understanding, because I hadn't been an entrepreneur, so I didn't really realize what I was getting myself into. And as anything you try new, it takes you a while to figure it out. Like when your baby starts walking, they fall down a few times. And so I had unrealistic expectations, I think, and still do sometimes. Sometimes a lot of us entrepreneurs, I think we're still hard on ourselves when we try something and it doesn't work. And we just have to remember, like, life is about experiments, about trying and perfecting and adjusting and getting there, right? And so Anyway, long story short, I was after about 6 months, I would say, in business, I had really been beating myself up like all the time. Like, this isn't working. I'm not getting new clients. I'm not making money. This isn't working. This isn't working. And finally I started thinking to myself, okay, I got to stop doing this because I am doing awesome things every day, every week. I'm trying something new. I'm learning something new. I'm accomplishing something. It's not like I'm sitting around on my couch all day long. Right. And so what I started doing was writing down every week, like, what is it that I accomplished this week? Let's celebrate those things that did go right. Let's celebrate those things that started happening good in my life rather than always looking for the bad. And I think what that does is it really changes your brain to start looking for all the good stuff, and then the good stuff starts happening. And so that's what happened to me. So so one of the things I started celebrating with was chocolate.
That is good. And the thing about entrepreneurship that people don't really talk about is how hard it is. And I think I'm a brand new entrepreneur myself. And before I went into it, I knew it was hard because I always hear people talk about it. But I never knew how hard it was until I was actually in it. And it has challenged me in ways I've never been challenged before my entire life. And a lot of it goes to the pressure that you feel. It's all you. Everything stops with you. Even if you have a big team, you're still the person who is who's responsible for everything at the end. And I think it's great that you celebrate all the great things that has happened, because I think we have a tendency of getting into that lower point, but we can't show it because we want to show that things are going well. So it's like the constant balance.
I agree. It's interesting because I felt that, like I said earlier, like I already had all the pieces, right? I understood marketing really well because I'd been in radio. I understood copywriting. I understood even sales, because I think that's what I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with too, is sales. And because I had a sales background, I was like, this is going to be a piece of cake for me. And it's just really not. And I remember actually when I first started working with Evan, I was still working in radio. I was still working on the side. And I remember him like relating to me like what it is that he's trying to help his entrepreneur audience with, and that they're really struggling. A lot of them are like struggling to keep the lights on, like literally keep the lights on in their buildings. And I didn't quite feel it yet because I hadn't experienced it yet. But then when I started my own business, I'm like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, it's really, it's a struggle. And especially for those entrepreneurs that are supporting their family 100% with their business, that's tough, right? Yeah. So I get it. It
makes a lot of sense. And Jen, like since the first day I met you, I always got the sense that you're a very authentic person. You're very open and honest about everything that you're going through and that what other people are going through. Is there any suggestions you will give to entrepreneurs who are in the public eye? Like us, we do YouTube videos, we do Instagram, I do Instagram stories and so on. Is there any suggestions that you will give entrepreneurs? Like if you are going through a hard time, how can we still convey a positive attitude, but at the same time still be open and honest about what we're going through?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say, again, I'm going to go back to celebration. Like, I think for me, that really, really made the difference. And I think you got to celebrate the little stuff. You got to celebrate the little things along the way. And not just for yourself, right? You have to celebrate the people around you that are helping you. I think if you can have gratitude for them, because to me, I've talked about this before, to me, celebration really is, in a way, it's a form of gratitude. And whether it's gratitude for the little things that are going right in your life, whether it's gratitude for someone else who's done you a favor, if you can write a thank you card, if you can send a little email to somebody, and then you can kind of almost make a ritual of it, right? Light yourself a candle, pour yourself a big bubbly bath, do these things to really commemorate the celebration. Eat a bite of chocolate. That's one of the reasons why, to me, chocolate is, it's not just me celebrating, writing stuff down and saying this was great. It's like me making something out of it, like making it a big deal, right? Okay. And so it's kind of like bringing it into the physical world somehow, so that really you can remember, and it can really signal your brain that these are some good things that are happening in your life, and you are grateful for them. Because I think once you start having gratitude, it, like I said, it changes your brain, but I think it also helps you start giving you energy. It gives you energy and excitement for what you're doing because you're focused on all that awesome stuff.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I practice gratitude every day, but what I don't do is I don't make it into a ritual.
Yeah.
So pairing it with chocolate or pairing it with something else, maybe a bubble bath, whatever it is. Okay, I might try it. I might try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things I encourage people to do is like write down a list of all the different ways you could celebrate, right? Like it could be something simple as like blowing bubbles. It could be, it's something fun like running around the block. I don't know if that's fun for you, or like doing a little dance party. Turn on your favorite song. I'll often do a dance party by myself in the car. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that you look at as you're driving, and I'm rocking out my car.
I know. Oh my gosh. I do it all the time. It's okay. It's fun.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun to have a little party by yourself in the car.
It feels good. It feels good. All right.
I totally agree. So yeah. So you mentioned that you are doing Instagram stories. I want to hear more about that because I am just now starting to get on Instagram. And I got to learn from other peeps. So tell me about Instagram. What are you doing on there for stories?
Okay, so what I do, I started Snapchat a while ago, probably a year and a half ago. And it's just to kind of document my journey. It started off as following me as a dancer, because the account is under like my dancer name. So it's Fortuna Dance Salsa Lily. That's what it's called. And when I started my journey with my speaking and my business and all of that, I kind of wanted to document it even more than just the bi-weekly series I have on Evan's channel. Okay. So what I do, if you want to talk about like the technical aspect of it, is what I do is I will do the Snapchat videos. Do you do Snapchat? Are you on Snapchat?
I do Snapchat. Yeah, I love Snapchat.
Okay, so I would do the Snapchat, and I would download the videos, and then I would upload it on the other platforms. So I would upload it on Instagram and Facebook as well, because Snapchat has the funnest filters.
I know they do. They have the best.
So that's what I do, and it's just basically me. Rambling a lot about what I'm going through. And it's part of what I just talked about is showing people that it's not easy sometimes, and you still have to celebrate your small wins and all the things that I go through. I think part of the problem and the challenge for me now is people are seeing me going out there and doing these big, bold things, but what they don't see is all the work behind it and all the frustration that I go through, and me talking to myself on a daily basis about, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. Oh my God, I'm so happy, to kind of ride the wave with me. It's kind of fun for people to see it. Also, it's me practicing how to be in the moment too. Because I have a thing about being over scripted.
Okay.
I think we talked about this when we originally did the collaborations, and I wanted to be more in the moment. And and then if people want to come on this journey, great. If not, then that's okay too.
I love it. I definitely think that obviously doing live video, like even this right now, it definitely helps hone those skills to be able to be as spontaneous and unscripted. And I know when I first did my 20 Days of Chocolate back in February, I think I mentioned this to you, like just doing that every single day, really like it just trains your brain to start, sharing stories with people and being spontaneous. And like you said, being in the moment. I love that. That's perfect. And Snapchat and Instagram are perfect for that because you can, and it doesn't have to be a long one, right? It's just like a quick little, take a video. I'm curious, do you also upload it to Snapchat too, the stories, or do you just download it from Snapchat and then put it up?
Oh, I do it on Snapchat too. I do a Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. The one that I see the biggest lift is actually in Instagram. Like Snapchat, I don't know for you, like it seems like the audience there is kind of declining.
On Snapchat?
On Snapchat versus Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that too, just because now Instagram, it does have that stories feature that, they didn't have before. They kind of, almost stole the idea from Snapchat. But one thing I will say is I think Snapchat is still used a lot for like personal communication one-on-one. Like I see my daughter using it and all her friends, they use Snapchat. Now they get on Instagram too, but it's usually just scrolling through and liking. And it's to them, I think Instagram is more like, kind of portraying the image, kind of curating a look to their, to their, what do you call it? I don't know. Don't call it channel, do you? I don't even know what you call it. Your feed. Um, and but they definitely use Snapchat a lot to communicate with each other, and they'll put stuff in like a group chat a lot, and then they'll also it's funny, I noticed that they do a lot of stuff with their group, and not necessarily they don't necessarily post stories on Snapchat. So yeah, I've actually considered, just for fun, doing something fun on Snapchat, but then I can also download and put up to my YouTube channel. So like maybe once a week I have like a little recap on YouTube of this fun stuff I'm doing on Snapchat, similar to what you're doing on Instagram. That's interesting.
Yeah, actually, we started doing that a little while ago with the dance studio. So we would download all our videos, yeah, and then we would just upload it onto our YouTube channel, and it's a collection of all the stories throughout the week.
Oh, that's cool. Of all the different dancers there?
Oh, it's me and Alex, who's the director of operations.
Oh yeah, okay.
It started off with him, and then it kind of and then I wanted to do it as well, so we kind of, both of us are doing it right now. It would be great to get all the dancers, because it's good to see everyone's like a life of
that'd be cool.
But yeah, similar to what you're talking about.
I love it. Well, maybe I'll give it a try. I think it'd be a fun way to get a little more attention to my Snapchat too, and hopefully get some more followers on Snapchat. But yeah, because like you said, it's not as something that people follow as much as but it's not as easy to find people either. You know, that's the thing about it.
I wonder if that's the whole point of it, though. Like, I wonder if it's like meant to be quirky on purpose.
Yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out in the chat box. I see Zano's here. Evan stopped by. I don't know if he's still here, but I saw Evan stop by to say hello. And they're chatting in the chat box. Let's see. I got to put my glasses on to see what they say. Let's see. J-Rez asks Zano if he practices celebrating or being in the moment. And then he basically says, because Zano does some videos too, that he also has a hard time being in the moment anyway. And then he says, I think about the past and the future a lot, way too much to enjoy the present, which is really interesting, because really, we're going to get philosophical here. Really, all we have is right now, right? The past is gone, and who knows what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, right? A meteor could hit the earth and we could die. What I mean, dark on Halloween, but it's true. So like, all you have is this very moment right now. Like Zano, right now, you're enjoying this moment with us, and we appreciate you being here.
I know. You know what? Sometimes it's like, it's a little bit dark, but at the same time, it shows the how fragile we are as human beings. Like we are very strong. We're also strong beings, but at the same time, everything could end. Might as well enjoy the present. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree.
A lot of stuff going on.
I think it's actually it's a powerful thing to kind of to think about your mortality in a way. I mean, I have to say, like, when I got in a really bad car accident almost 3 years ago, and when that happened, it definitely was one of those things that really kind of precipitated, like, I had already been considering starting my business and, becoming a writer full time. And it was kind of like that final thing, like, that made me go, gosh, life is short. Like, I could have died and I wouldn't become a writer. Right. So why put it off? And so I think it can help motivate you a little bit to, to follow your dreams and be the person you want to be.
Wow.
Follow your fantasies.
I know. It's like, wow, all of these things happening to people have different traumatic moments that may force them to do the things that they should be doing or they want to do.
Yeah. Did that happen with you too?
Yeah. One of my really good friends died. It wasn't necessarily his death, I would say, per se. It would be more reflecting on his life. Reflect on people's lives who have passed away. Like, wow, they had a really great life. They did all these wonderful things. And I came to the realization that he didn't have a great life time, and he just had all of these regrets, and he lived a long life. He lived to 86, which is great.
Yeah.
But did nothing with it. And I just, that at all. And I was going down the same path. I was 30 years old and I was going down the exact same path. And I decided to just make a change.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
It's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, what do you say to people who are waiting for something to happen to them? that they're like, well, I'm sorry that this happened to you, Lily. I'm sorry that happened to you, Jen. But nothing like that happened to me. I think I'm waiting for something to happen before I go out there and start my business or live my dream. What do you say to people like that?
What are you waiting for? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I would be like, you don't need a moment like that to pursue your dreams. I think it just puts it into sharp reality for you. But I mean, if you're waiting, you might be that person that actually died in the car accident, right? Like, I didn't die, but someone else could, so don't wait. That's what I would say. I would say, like, what are you waiting for? Because if for some reason, there might be a valid reason why you're waiting, but there might not be, right? And I think one of the things that I heard recently was, like, if you have a dream about something, just write down what it is you could do at this very moment. Like, maybe you can't quit your job right now, but maybe you can make a plan. And what would that look like if you were able to do that? Like, what would it take for you to be able to quit your job, and then, start writing out how to make that happen? Like, I'm just using that as an example. But I think, if you, I guess that would be it, is just ask yourself why you're waiting. To stop waiting.
I love it. I agree too. I used to be one of those people that always waited for something to happen. And before I knew it, I was 30 years old and I hated my life. And now when I see people going down the same path as me, like, what do you wait? Just do something. Just do something small. Like, what's step 1? Like, don't worry about step 10. Worry about what you can do right now. So it goes hand in hand what we just said.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing of just starting, right? I mean, sometimes, this is just like, use an example, even just simple as like writing a sales pitch for a client. Like, sometimes when I'm like sort of procrastinating, it's because I like have this vision of how awesome I want it to be. And so I like kind of like won't start it. But if I can just start it, like if I just tell myself take 5 minutes and just start for 5 minutes, then I can quit if I don't like where it's going. But usually after you just start it, you have a little momentum going, right? It reminds me of when I, like I said, when I used to work in radio, we'd have musicians come by, especially like they were early on, maybe they weren't quite popular. They had their first release. And so they would come over to the radio stations, they would play for the staff there, and in hopes that the staff would love their music so much that they would start playing their music, right? So we had some great artists come through before they were big hits. And I remember one particular guy, someone said to him, like, I can't remember why they asked this question, but like, what made you decide to start taking lessons? Like, what was it that, inspired you to start doing this? And he's like, I really struggled for a while on practicing every day. I wasn't becoming very good because I wasn't practicing. And he said someone gave him the advice of just sit down and practice 10 minutes a day. And he said, if I think it was someone was asking about it because their kid was interested in becoming a famous musician, but they weren't practicing. And he was like, just tell them to practice for 10 minutes a day. Because if they can sit down for 10 minutes, they'll most likely play for like a half hour. But most kids are willing to sit down for 10 minutes. And once they're sitting down for 10 minutes, they'll keep going. Yeah. And I think that's true.
That's so many things. That is so true. I would even... Okay, this is a weird conversation that I was having about flossing yesterday with one of my students. So they were having...
I love it, flossing. This is great.
People hate flossing, apparently. And
I do too.
And one of the suggestions was just floss one tooth. Just floss one tooth. And by the time you start flossing that one tooth, you're like, you know what? While I'm at it, I'll just floss the entire thing.
Right.
Thing. It applies to flossing, to musicians, to starting your own business. Like, while you're at it, you're probably going to keep going. And the starting and stopping is it's very detrimental to people.
Yeah. Because once you start, then you're like, oh, this is no big deal. It's just that, it's like that fear of like just doing something, right? You just like overthink it rather than just like taking the action and just doing one little thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So good.
I love it. Well, what plans do you have today, Lily? What are you going to do today?
I still have more interviews. So on Tuesdays, I fill up my entire day with interviews. And primarily, it goes back to my first thing that I was talking about is I'm very shy and introverted. So it takes me an entire day to kind of be in this mode. If I close up or start answering emails, that's it. It's over for me. So interviews for the rest of the day.
I love it. And so are you doing them, do you do them live on different channels?
Yes.
Very cool. So what's another channel you're going to do today that you're excited about?
So right after you, it's going to be You Gotta Love with Richard.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
I do know Richard. Yes.
Yes. So it's with him. He went on a trip for the last couple of weeks, so he's back now. We're going to be answering some questions with him.
Very cool. Fun. Well, and is it going to be live on his channel then?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, if any viewers out there, if you're live, go check out Lily right now with You Gotta Love and hear about Richard's adventures. I'm curious now too. I might have to catch you live too. And thank you so much for joining us. I love it. I encourage you to go out and have a little. I'm gonna have a little chocolate here as soon as we're done here, Lily. That's what I'm doing today. It's Halloween, though, right? It's a day for chocolate.
I have to go find some chocolate later and celebrate. Yeah. Celebrate all the small things.
I love it. Lots of reasons to celebrate besides Halloween. Thank you for being here, Lily. And thank you, J-Rai, Zaino, and Evan for joining too. I love it. Wait, let's make sure there's no more final questions in the box. Not too much. They're just saying thanks and just chatting away with each other. So I love it. All right, cool. Thanks you guys for being here. And we'll see you next week, Lily.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.